Well, welcome everybody to what will be our final episode of the calendar year 2024.
Woo!
And our first year of existence. Welcome to Second Chance In Turndown service. We're calling this. We're just gonna take the time to address some of the games that we played over this year in Second Chance In that didn't see an end result, either because we were done with it or because the inmates weren't feeling it. Maybe it's a little of both. But yeah, like, you know, for games that we are finished or at least satisfied with, like, we want to give that rating. Like, is it a sinner? Do we recommend that you just skip this one? Is it a winner? Do we recommend you totally play this one despite what the fuckers say? Or is it an in-betweener where it's okay, you might have a good time with it, you might think it sucks, it's just kind of meh.
If I may interject too, just speaking on the first part, that this is our first full year of being a channel, being 2TI. I found it funny that as of this recording, as of this day, it was exactly a year ago that we had put up our first recording, and YouTube let me specifically know about it because I did today's upload. So yeah, I think that this is incredibly appropriate. By the way, I'm losing my voice, so that's the reason why I sound a little rough around the edges, but this is an important video to get out. So
absolutely. So yeah, we're only going to talk about 4 games that are on our list. One of them is not Assassin's Creed Unity, and that's just simply because we didn't spend enough time with it. We had a good time with the 2 episodes that we played, but to be perfectly honest, when we played it, we weren't intending on playing that one quite yet. It was just kind of available. We were really fucking winging it that first recording session.
Yes, but it was fun. It was fun stumbling through it.
Gosh, it was. It's been a blast, like, for all the ups and downs that come with trying to start a YouTube channel.
I will say that doing YouTube as a full-time, like, you know, just put all your creative eggs in a basket, way different than Twitch. Yeah. Way, like, in so many different levels. And I'm happy to say I've done both. Allie's done both now at this point too. Yes. And yeah, I'm happy that I have such great friends to do this with. So not to get all mushy on you fuckers.
Smushy, mushy motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Mushy.
Yep. And another game that we are not including on this list is Cyberpunk. And the reason for that, Allie, would you like to say why?
Because we are going to be revisiting that in the upcoming year.
Woohoo! Yeah!
Woohoo.
2025 bitches return
demand.
to Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one everybody was jiving with. Honestly, I feel like we stopped where we did, not just because it was a good place to stop to see if people were really feeling it.
Yeah.
It's an RPG, so you always have to treat those with caution on YouTube. Either people are really going to be into it or they're not.
We've also realized that with RPGs, with every RPG that we've played on this channel so far, that there is a considerable amount of grinding that you have to do off screen. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more TLC that goes into it.
Yeah. But with Cyberpunk, let's face it, the other reason was emotionally, I needed time, because literally, like, the only man I will publicly say that I would jump to the other side for is Jackie Wells.
Jackie Wells.
And losing Jackie with now
the best
looking
tune
back,
you could ask for.
Looking back at those last couple of episodes,
I still
my
cry.
God, he had so many death flags. He should have been performing Semaphore.
Honestly, like, that was a character that game had no right taking that man away from us.
But that's why they made him so like so amazing. He was such a great guy. Loved his mom.
Yep.
Loved you.
Yep.
Loved his town and wanted a better life.
God damn, was that motherfucker not built?
Yeah, not to mention built like a brick shit house. That voice was amazing. And
I mean, if you were making a game where you knew you were going to have to make somebody feel the world ripping something important away from them, would you not create Jackie Wells? Would you not create just the best friend you could ever ask for?
Yep, and just take him squarely away.
Mm-hmm.
Calling me Choom. He called me Choom.
Yeah. He was your choom. He's the best choom you could have had.
But be on the lookout. Early 2025, the return of V and Keanu and all of the fun stuff that comes with Cyberpunk.
Yeah, V's got Shadow the Hedgehog in her head.
Yes.
Yep.
And
John Wick needs a smoke. I don't smoke. Yes, you do.
a lot of people, on that note, just a really quick aside, when I was going to Fan Expo and I dressed up as Reeve, everybody assumed that I was trying to be John Wick or Keanu Reeves in some facet. So
ignoring the big cat on your shoulder?
Yes, totally. And they still didn't get it. So we did the full-blown Reeve for Non-Desicon a couple months later, and people started to get a little bit more. But because of that, I'm officially growing out my hair. And I'm going to have long-ass Keanu Reeves hair.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
So take that, internet. Anyways.
So yeah, should we get into the 4 games we're going to talk about?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So first things first. Our very first game on Second Chance In, No Man's Sky. This is the game that inspired me to create Second Chance In.
Ooh, what a game.
Because I could not think of a better example when it comes to a game that was just all of the hype surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out, and it's like the coin flipped overnight. Like, people were just dumping on that game. And then, as time has passed, as patches have happened, there has become a following for it. But yeah, we just wanted to see for ourselves, like, why was it that people hated it? And
it was controversial.
Are the fixes and the patches or what they made, did that make for a better experience? So I think I'll start with you, Kenny. What was the first thing from No Man's Sky that you remember, just off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I remember long swaths of waiting, which for the start of the channel, I think was fine because they gave us an opportunity to bust out a few comedy chops. It gave us a chance to kind of solidify, like, set our feet in the stone and in the sand, so that way we can have a good anchor point for Second Chance In. That said, one of the biggest takeaways I could get from that game was that it was insanely confusing. That it had a lot, like, it was so deep to the point where we were only scratching the surface and not getting the full effect of the game, which in turn, I feel like that kind of made us a little bit frustrated towards the end. That was my initial reaction to it. But I'll pass it off to Allie. Same question.
Yeah, what's the first thing you remember from No Man's?
So the first memory that comes to mind is obviously Jetpack Johnny.
Yes, okay, yeah.
But the first thing I remember us doing with the game was being confused and trying to find very specific resources without having, like, a really clear idea as to the reason we were gathering these resources. I remember a kind of a sense of, ooh, let's explore, but to what end?
To what end? That was always the question we were faced with at the end, was like, to what end?
Mm-hmm.
Never seemed to be a payout with that game.
So honestly, there were 2 things that really jumped out right off the bat. The one thing that really kind of sunk it for me, the item management was
involved,
unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah,
they added like 2 extra steps to, like, a simple action, and it took me way too long to figure it out, and I don't think I ever truly felt comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Probably if I had actually gone and played off screen and messed around, like, on my own time, like, it probably would have been a little bit better. But the whole part of Second Chance In, at least at the beginning of it, was that we were going to try to approach it organically. Like, we're acting as the POV for the inmates of saying, hey, we've never touched this game. We heard it sucked, but we want to see for ourselves.
Yeah.
Give it the old college try.
Yeah. And the other thing, and really what truly also sunk it for me, was when we spent like a good 3.5 to 4 episodes working to exit the planet, to get off the planet. And when we finally got off the planet, the first thing that it had me do once I set foot on the planet was return to the first planet, just to keep doing the same crap, just with a different end goal.
Yep.
And it ultimately ended up with me making an idiotic mistake and building some permanent thing on a ledge that I couldn't actually activate.
Yep. And I remember that moment, and I remember just saying, like, how many episodes deep are we going to go before John absolutely loses his mind?
Yep.
Didn't take long.
That was the number.
Yep, and I lost my mind at episode 5. We recorded 7 episodes.
There was a lot of menus within menus that did make navigating all of the items and combining and the crafting, it made it less than less than intuitive.
Yeah, I think that it is for somebody. I think that it was targeted towards people who have that sort of mind and that sort of patience to deal with stuff like that. But for us being, pretty casual gamers, I think that it's probably a no-go for us, Capitan, right?
Well, I mean, first, I mean, we've all kind of talked about our least favorite parts of the game, like item management and certain, like, kind of a slow moving kind of thing, like that.
Ooh.
That's but were there any parts that you would consider your favorite? Like, did you enjoy?
I really liked our chops that we did. I liked a lot of our shorts, and I really, really liked when you were trying to ride the animal. That was a good moment.
Sprinkle farts.
It was sprinkle farts. Sprinkle farts did it for me, and also like going through all the tunnels and just, I don't know. We made it a good time.
Yeah. I mean, honestly. Yep.
By the way, we have an extra guest here. My little boy Roger's here, so that's what all the jingling is.
He's such a good boy.
He's a good boy. And a little baby boy.
Oh man. Hey, intern, throw up a picture of Roger's adorable ass.
Oh, isn't he cute? Look at him. Look at Roger.
He's a bow. He's a bozer. He's such a bow. Such a bow.
Right here.
Oh, he's such a good boy. Okay. So Allie, do you have a favorite? Oh, by the way, mine hands down. It was just messing around with the jetpack. The jetpack was so much fun to play around with.
The jetpack. Jetpack Johnny.
Jetpack Johnny. By the way, no jetpack still. Just pointing that out there. Like, on that episode, we said, please send us money so I could have a jetpack. And here I stand before you, 1 year older, jetpackless.
So that's on you, inmates.
Yeah, right?
But not Talking Dog best friendless.
No.
Isn't
that right, Roger? He's like, that's right, John. I'm like, I need to go to bed. Okay. Well, here, one last question, plus maybe, depending on your answer, a follow-up before we give our final
grade
for it. If it were up to you, would you consider continuing the series, and why?
Are we starting with me?
I would like to take this last, so either of you start, because I was the one playing, and I think the person playing should answer this one last.
We'll go in order. So yeah, I'll take it. I'll start it off. I say no. While as much fun as it was playing that game with the both of you, I agree with all the points that we had John over. I think that we have exhausted that game to the point where we milked it for what it was worth. If we continued, it was going to be more of the same. And it just didn't add a whole lot of diversity. So for that reason, it's a no-go center for me. So,
I'm gonna say conditionally yes, I would continue it.
Okay, what are the conditions?
The biggest one would be if we get some sort of a guide to continue the game.
okay.
So whether that is some guidance from like a guest host, or some guidance on the front of maybe a, I don't know,
Just having somebody here to kind of guide through.
Well,
That would add diversity. Oh, Roger. Oh, Roger.
Roger agrees.
But yeah, whether we have from a guest or a like a walkthrough or something, and the other condition would be if we have some kind of assurance of a more of a variety of content that we could get from the game. Because I do think that there is a foundation there, but I think given what we had been presented was very samey and very repetitive. So if we had an assurance that there was more variety to come and a more concise roadmap, a more clear roadmap to get there, I think
just running around.
I think there's potential in the future for it.
You know what? I kind of have a very similar answer. Allie, my whole thing is the one condition in which I would consider a couple more episodes would be that we bring somebody on that brings their own save of No Man's Sky that has like just a considerable amount more done, and they can show us truly like when you get into the the swing of things of the game, like this is what it has to offer. This is the reason why people stuck with it enough despite all the hate at the beginning to create a sequel. So
I mean, for that reason, I kind of revised my answer. So yes, conditionally, if we get somebody on board who wants to show us how the game is actually done and played, and with the time and investment put in, then yeah, I'd be willing to revisit it again. But no other current save.
So what I'm hearing from both of you is if someone can show us like the end game version,
or just a farther along version, just something different.
Yeah, something that shows us truly what No Man's Sky is all about that we weren't able to do in my 7 episodes of Bumbling.
We're gonna have to find somebody who has a save file.
Yeah. So inmates, if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I'm that person, get in contact with us.
secondchanceinat@gmail.com.
Yep, we're gonna give a big plug at the end, so stick around for that. For
everything
all
in the
the
description.
things. But I guess so for booking a future stay, No Man's Sky, you might want to call Second Chance in before coming in for vacancies because it might not be there. There's conditional vacancies for you.
Conditional vacancies.
All right. So I was gonna count this down. All right. Sinner, winner, in-betweener. 3, 2, 1.
in-betweener.
Okay. That's pretty much exactly what we said at the beginning.
That's fair.
Because we did do this rating for No Man's Sky when we decided to call it quits. We didn't do that for any of the other games, nor will we do that for any future games that we don't finish, because I like the idea of wrapping this up at the end. So, all right, in-betweener. So conditional in-betweener based on what you were saying, Allie?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, for me, unfortunately, I was probably so frustrated with the game that it would really take some convincing for me to change my thought at this point. But yeah, like it's definitely not meant for your casual gamer.
No, and also we have other content that we could totally play in this channel. So that's my perspective.
Yeah, fair. Well, speaking of content that we thoroughly enjoyed, but struggled to find the same kind of audiences that other games like Batman and Class of 09 and Firewatch did.
Yeah.
DMC. Can we talk about?
Here we go.
Can we talk about hashtag Not My Dante?
Oh, not my Dante. So I was the one who took the reins on that playthrough, and we got through a total of 2 or 3 episodes
Of Devil May Cry?
Oh no, way
we
more
played
than that.
11 episodes.
11, excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking Assassin's Creed for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
But yes, so DMC, just didn't. There's a couple things that are going on there. Number one, we were figuring out the capture card, so I think that a lot of the audio may or may not have detoured a lot of our audience away, just because the capturing audio was basically being recaptured through our microphones, and so it didn't sound so great. We can fix that now. But yeah, number 2, I had a really good time with that series. It was
What's the first thing that you remember from it? Just
It
off the top of your
It
head.
was fast paced, and that I could be as gremlin-y as I possibly wanted to be, and you two would have to put up with it. And it was just a magical time for me. Like it felt like opening up a toy box every single time we were recording DMC, and there was just so much you could do. I was learning new ways to maneuver the combat. It felt interesting every single time we played it. It was different every single time. It was provocative. It was raunchy, and I don't know. I straight up loved it. So for everybody else who wants to see it come back, know that I would be floored to play DMC again. And we'll have it with a little bit better quality moving forward.
Yeah. The first thing I truly remember from that, honestly, was me giving you so much shit, but I was also wrong. Like, I was correct in how you did it, but the thing is that the upgrade little like icon in the corner of your display screen looked like the circle button. So I kept wanting you to press circle so bad to upgrade your shit.
Yeah, you did. And you drove me up a wall, John.
Statues don't move, John.
Oh my God. Like, obviously, like, we played up for the show, but I wanted to strangle you so hard in that moment.
Yeah, I was being, and then once
you were being pedantic.
Well, once I realized that I had gotten your goat, I went intentionally obtuse with it.
Yeah, you did.
I kind of had to.
You're not the only guilty party here. I'm looking at you too, Allie.
Look, it's fun to. For lack of a better term, it's fun to pick on the person who's playing a little bit.
It totally is. And that's the thing. That's my jive. Like, my favorite kind of comedy is when you can throw somebody under the bus at the behest of the person who's playing. Like that, to me, nothing's funnier. And we had a lot of, like, our funniest chops. Our most watched and liked short came from that playthrough.
Yeah, by a lot.
By like thousands.
Yep. It's also the first time that we truly upset the intern.
Yeah.
We asked the intern in episode 1 to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember them being really,
salty.
Really, well, they were nervous because we were like, we want you to add this, we want you to do this, and we want you, and it's more so you and me just kind of trying to one-up each other. And like, hey, like, special shout out on turning around and making that. I love that, like, little video where it just shows the monkey throwing shit at an old lady, and then it just points out, it's like, I only put this in here to show how much of an asshole you two are.
It was really funny. I think it was at that moment too that we all realized, like, oh, there's a lot of work that goes into post-production. So we laid off a little bit after that.
So Allie, I got to ask you, because you and I have a unique situation with this game in particular. Unlike No Man's Sky, where we all walked in blind, Kenny was the only one who had never played this. You and I have played DMC all the way through.
Yes.
I beat it. You beat it. It had been a while since either of us played, if I remember correctly.
That's correct, yes.
It also added, like, another dimension or another dynamic to the gameplay, too, is that both of you knew exactly what was coming. I had no idea as the one who was holding the controller, so I thoroughly enjoyed that, too.
Yeah. But what would you say, Allie, is... like, kind of the things that you remember, and, like, what were your favorite parts of the game and our playthrough, or maybe even least favorite?
So I just to give a little bit of background, I had kind of a weird. This game was my introduction to the Devil May Cry franchise. I knew about it. I had never played any of the previous entries, though. I always thought it looked cool. And so then when I saw this and, like, oh, it's edgy, it's cool. A friend had gifted me the I didn't get it right away, and then a friend gifted me the definitive edition when I was going through some rough stuff. So I think on a certain level it is going to hold a special place in my heart, because it was like, oh, I was playing this when I was really sad, and it was making me feel better.
Yeah.
But you know, not having the I guess, grounding of the previous entries, I really had a ton of positive experience with this game because it is that really fast-paced, really fluid, fun gameplay. And I hadn't been kind of weighed down by having a preconceived notion of what should or should not be in the game. So I think the thing, that really stuck out most to me was just how fluid and fun the combat was.
Even though I had the sticks.
Yeah, well, and then the moments where Kenny had the controls and would spam one move instead of
remember my
jumping from move to move like the game encourages.
Like
we were never going for style points when we were playing. We were going to finish the enemy. That was it. It doesn't matter what grade you give me, DMC.
It was really fun.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing I have is the really fun combat.
And honestly, and the funny part is so I played the first 3 DMCs, actually beating 2, 3, and 4 when the remake came out. But I too didn't play it right away. I was curious as to why they were rebooting Devil May Cry, not so much pissed off like a lot of people were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I guess the reason for it was they weren't happy with the sales of Devil May Cry 4, but I mean, to me, I was like, well, that game was okay. Like, it was pretty good. Wasn't my favorite Devil May Cry, by the way. That's 3. It was just, like they were rebooting it, and so it took me a while to get to it. But when I got to it, I was like, well, this just plays like any other Devil May Cry. The only difference is they changed the aesthetic of the characters and where they came from. Like Mundus in the first game is basically like a larger than life statue demon thing that you end up fighting on the surface of the goddamn moon at the end of the first one. So it's like literally like, it's so bombastic, but this is like more of a, the devil hiding in plain sight kind of things where he's like this kingpin type tycoon mogul who has his fingers in everything from politics to publicity, and like that was kind of neat. And the level,
I was really drawn in by that aspect of the the human world being manipulated by the demons.
Though I do apologize, Kenny, that you had to see Mundus's lady friend who twists her skin up to keep it from being wrinkled.
Yeah, that was kind of gross. It reminded me of something in a movie once. Like, I don't know, I feel like I've seen something like that done in like a really like early 90s movie. But anyways, that's the other reason I really liked it, is that it was edgy and it was just they went so much further than any other DMC. But yeah, let's go with, what was the next question on that? And I'll start with you, John.
Well, honestly, this one is, let me just, instead of asking the question, let me just get confirmation, because I think we've all pretty much alluded to what our answer would be. Like, if it's entirely up to us, we're just continuing the series, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, the only caveat that would keep us from playing it is
if we get negative feedback.
Well, right. Yeah. Negative feedback or, well, more of the same. So I think really the caveat is going to be more so of we're just going to keep kind of monitoring DMC as the channel gets bigger. We'll see if people kind of come to it. Again, just plugging secondchanceinat@gmail.com, where you can send us all of your gaming requests. If you feel like you would love to see us play more DMC, we totally would love to play it. But that being said, if we're ending DMC here and now, and we have to give a grade, sinner, winner, in betweener, 3, 2, 1, winner! Chicken fucking dinner.
That is a 3 for 3.
Yep. I mean, it's just a fun fucking game. People hated it because it was a reboot that didn't need to happen, but it's still a good DMC game, and fans got what they wanted anyway. We got Devil May Cry 5, which is also awesome, by the way. I just haven't finished it. It's one of those games I keep playing, and then something else comes out, and I put it on the side. It's not that I'm not liking it, but yeah, anyway. We're not here to talk about that unless you want us to play Devil May Cry 5. Just saying.
I'm down.
I would not put it in Second Chance in. That game was pretty well
That'd be a weekend getaway.
It would be a total weekend getaway because I love the Devil May Cry series. Let's start with Allie on this one.
Okay.
Going around the table.
3 words. Mighty Number 9.
Woo!
What's the first thing you remember from that game?
1 word. Fuck. The first thing I remember is I really like the visuals. I think it's a good looking game. And I like the life that's brought into it with all the little animations like Beck's kicky little feet.
Little kicking feet. Yeah.
Little kicking feet.
However, the controls that come along with those aesthetics leave something to be desired.
Yes.
Is a very gentle way to lead into what I'll go into more detail in future questions.
I actually
Kenny,
I've remembered both you and John like losing hair over this game, just because exactly as you said, the controls and just how clunky it was from to go from point A to point B on top of being absurdly difficult. It was a good time. We always provide by making it a good time, but as far as that game goes, I would probably, it's a mixed feeling sort of thing with me. It kept it interesting too because all the bosses were different, so it doesn't have the issue as some of the other games that we had, like No Man's Sky. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm kind of mixed feelings with it.
It's not so much that there's something that I truly remember from the game. It's a feeling that I have had ever since we walked away from it. 2 questions I ask myself. If push came to shove, could I beat Mighty Number 9? Yes. Yes, I could. I could beat that game. Would I enjoy myself? Not in the fucking slightest.
Yep.
That game, the problem I feel with that game, because, I mean, so for those who don't know, I mean, well, first check out our Mighty Number 9 episodes because we go into detail about that. It's made by the guy who made Mega Man. It was clearly meant to be kind of a spiritual successor since the creator of Mega Man walked away from Capcom, so he could no longer make Mega Man, but wanted to still make Mega Man. And I mean, the truth is that just because of that, just because of the origins of it and everything that went into it, it's always going to be compared to its big brother. And Mega Man is just an established franchise that it can't touch. The first Nintendo game, the Mega Man 1, plays much tighter and smoother than Mighty Number 9.
Yes.
And that game came out in like 86, 87?
Yeah, the first one did, yeah.
Yeah, so like I remember when Allie told me that she didn't want to play anymore and that I'd be taking over, the first thing I did the night before we recorded was I beat Mega Man 1. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm back in the groove of things, and I still struggled.
It's because it was and it wasn't Mega Man.
It was, but the only reason why I feel like I truly could beat it is simply because when I finally did beat Cryo, I didn't just beat Cryo, I beat the shit out of Cryo.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close. Like that first, the opening of our last episode, you look at my health bar, and I think I got hit maybe once.
It's because you had to get it down. That was the thing, is that there's no in between. Either you rock it at that game or you are dead.
Yeah.
There was zero. I mean, there was very few times where it was in between.
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, I mean, we kind of covered our favorite parts of the game. Is there anything, Kenny, that you remember other than like the gameplay, the struggles, the frustrations? Because there's one thing I would like to say that I loved.
What's that?
Dr. Sanda.
Dr. Sanda.
Great googly moogly. And like all the different things that he would say. Nah, Beck, what are you gonna do? Man, he was like a cartoonishly cartoon character.
I know. In a game like filled with cartoons, he was definitely the most cartoony of all the cartoons.
Right? I kind of wish that he was just the doctor that created Beck, and not Dr. White. Yeah, Dr. Sanda, the big old roly-poly dude. Like,
yeah, he was
the best.
He was the best. He was the best. My favorite part of the playthrough for sure.
He was hands down. I was also a little pissed off with the fact that they made Call like completely robotic and no personality.
Yeah.
I loved the Mega Man cartoon when I was a kid growing up, and Roll was always a fun character to watch. It was a product of its time. Unfortunately, Roll, like, while Mega Man could like slide his hand into his Mega Buster and use all sorts of different powers, Roll could slip her hand into her Mega Buster and bring out things like frying pans and ironing boards
and a vacuum. I remember specifically a vacuum.
Yep. But okay, like intentional sexism from 30 years ago aside, she had personality, and then in future games where Roll would kind of make, even with just text only, you could feel personality there. This was just, Beck, you must go from point A to point B.
Yeah, she was not a character.
Going back to your question, John, the other thing that I would remember from that is that there were so many swaths of you or Allie concentrating, so I had to fill a lot of dead space with singing. Yep. And so if it hasn't already aired, I'm pretty sure it's going to air before this airs. There's going to be a Kenny's Got Pipes episode that's coming, and featuring me. Thank you, John.
Absolutely.
For greenlighting that idea.
Yeah. I was like, how about for a compilation, we just put together all these different things where Kenny's just singing. Yeah, and
I do that often.
I think that was the one where you gave us your original Itchy Wiener song.
Oh, the Itchy Wiener song. God, I love the Itchy Wiener song. Itchy wiener, but I don't have an itchy wiener. Don't quote me on that.
The internet will. So yes,
I don't have an itchy wiener. You can't quote me on that.
Don't quote you on that. So Allie, is there any little favorites that you'd like to remember? Oh, also, by the way, no, first answer your question, and then I'll give a shout out if needed.
Okay. Favorite parts?
Is there anything that you liked?
Well, she's struggling.
There's parts that I wanted to like.
Yeah.
And I think that basically describes my entire experience with the game. This is a microcosm of all your feelings. I wanted to like the game. I really did.
Yep. Okay, well,
and
shout out to MercyBot, though. Gotta give MercyBot a little love.
But yeah, just at every turn where I wanted to say, it's just me, I'm just not playing it very well. I would learn something new to play in the game, to do better in the game, and the game would turn around and continue to punish me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Was it Dinah's level where you had to learn how to do a crouch dash on the fly? And they literally put you in a hairpin super exact moment. Like, if
I forgot about that.
Yeah, like if you go a little bit left, a little bit right, like it's an insta kill.
It was
and that's where they taught you how to do it.
It felt like a puzzle. Like they gave you, it's like, here's this new thing. By the way, be great at it.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the toughest parts about Mighty Number 9 in their efforts, I think, to bring the old school challenge of the older Mega Man games. They forgot that when you're giving characters new moves and new like button commands to give, normally they give it to you in a safe space tutorial where you get to just play around with it until you get it. You know, like think like Mario, like any of the Mario games, like, you know, like when they taught you how to do the triple jump in Mario 64, you were given like a wide open field with no enemies or hardly any enemies to do it in. In Mighty Number 9, they taught you, okay, you have to do this real specific move. Now go ahead and do it. Yep. Instant death all around.
Instant death.
Yeah, that was
so. What do we think?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Sinner.
Tweener.
That's fair. I'm a sinner that leans to in-betweener, but could I beat it? Yes. Would I enjoy it? No. If people really, really, really want to see it, Mighty Number 9 will likely end up being part of another show that we're going to debut in 2025. I don't know if I'm ready to announce it yet because we haven't.
Well, let's see what the feedback is first.
Yeah. If people really, really, really want to see us suffer through Mighty Number 9,
Say the word.
I guess.
I at the end of the day, I just couldn't get past how hard I tried to like it and how hard the game punished me for wanting to like it.
It was a Stockholm Syndrome situation.
Right. It's like the cat that keeps clawing you every time you try to pet it, but it's so goddamn cute, you just want to pet it.
Isn't that right, Roger? Little jingly boy.
He's like, I'm not a cat.
Put up a picture of Roger, please.
That's right.
Here he is.
Intern, go. All right. So we have one more game to discuss before we kind of wrap this all up. It's our most recent game it's our most recent game to appear on the show. It is not our most recent recorded game.
Oh.
Resident Evil 6. So here's a little bit of a secret. We recorded those episodes of Resident Evil 6 in the spring and summer of 2024.
Yep.
And it was actually meant to debut like sometime in May.
Yeah.
And then it got pushed back and back and back and back simply because, well, one, Batman took off way bigger than we thought it was going to.
So we put a lot of our eggs in that basket.
So we had to pour a little bit more focus into Batman. And I think at the time when we recorded RE6, I think we were still in the feeling out phase of what we wanted to do. I think the initial idea was that Resident Evil 6 would be our Saturday long plays back when we were trying to do 2 episodes a week on the regs.
Yeah.
And there was never a good spot for it. And then when finally the schedule opened up, well, it was like damn near spooky season anyway, so it was like, well, no, screw it. Let's wait until October. So yeah, like that's why Resident Evil 6, despite coming out much later, doesn't have our Second Chance in theme song. It still has that Night in Kyoto song that we were using.
Yeah. Which every time I uploaded a video, it was like, copyright strike. Never mind, it's public domain.
Right. So, yeah, super huge shout out.
Didn't remember that.
No, well, that's because it's only my eyes looking at me uploading videos.
Yeah, but honestly, like I've seen that too, and I got to give a super huge shout out. I'm actually going to pull this up real quick. Just because I want to get the song.
While John is pulling that up, I guess I'll say my piece with Resident Evil 6. It was fun. It is fun. We're still playing through it. I just remember it being incredibly cursed for a lot of different reasons, or for a few different reasons. Number one, there seemed to be something going on with one version or another, and we'd had to go back, redo some things. And then some of the chapters, there are just such long swaths of you just having to pour your heart out. Either a chapter will last for like 10 minutes, which was the case for me when I picked up the controller.
You played the prequel.
Yeah. And then handed off to Allie, and she has these 2 feature-length films of chapters that she had to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about that, Allie.
By the way, Resident Evil 6.
Take it away if you want to.
Resident Evil 4 and 5 put checkpoints in their big-ass chapters. And like Resident Evil 6 just decided, nah, fuck that.
Fuck you.
Right, sorry. Go ahead, Allie.
No, you're fine. So just to give a little backstory, my experience with Resident Evil predominantly comes from playing the like GameCube era remake of 1.
Fuck yeah.
Yay.
Rocks.
And then the modern remakes of Resident Evil 2 and 4.
Both solid.
Which play similar but pretty different.
Yeah.
And I played those with a mouse and a keyboard. I'm sure it's apparent when I'm playing that going from mouse and keyboard to controller, not working great.
Yeah.
And it has genuinely affected my enjoyment of the game. Not to mention the slogging nature of the mission structure.
Yep.
You find yourself just wading through wave after wave of enemy, and then it's just, I mean, we haven't even gotten, and I don't know if we will, but we haven't even gotten to why because if you don't remember, like, I kind of was pretty, like, I mentioned that I hate Helena, Leon's partner.
Yeah, and you won't tell me why.
No, because, well,
Don't spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it, but there's a lot of kind of dicking people around, and that's what kind of extends the chapters. And it's like, at some point, like, it would, it would just be, it doesn't make any kind of sense except for the need to continue the game, that, like, anybody would put up with some of the nonsense that comes out of Resident Evil 6.
Well, I don't know if they were trying to be experimental with that game or whatever, but to me, it didn't pay off.
But real quick, by the way, shout out to, I don't know if it's AVBE or AVB. It's all caps, but AVB or AVBE, the song's called Night in Kyoto. It's the song that we used on our We're Doing a Thing announcement video.
Yes.
And it was the song that we had planned on using basically for our outro until my good buddy Adrian of Memento Vivere made us that kick-ass ending that we started using, I think, in Firewatch.
Yeah, Firewatch is when we debuted it for sure.
Yep. So yeah, like a huge shout out to both AFB, who we do not know, but we thank you for not being a jerk about allowing us to use your copyrighted song. And then thank you, Adrian, for giving us something super original that we can use without fear of getting in trouble on the internet.
And hey, good segue into this. The more content that fans or anybody else wants to hand over to us, the more that the channel builds, and the more that you're providing love to the community. So if you have a great talent, if you have something in art or music or anything you want to send our way, we are way more than receptive to see what you got. So.
Absolutely. I mean, I won't speak for all of us, but I think this is true. We found a lot of inspiration, maybe through the Game Grumps.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And the Game Grumps,
Jacksepticeye, Markiplier.
They've always been super cool about really trying to, like, expand, kind of the world of art and animation on the internet. And there's a lot of really talented artists that get to work with them and do all these amazing shorts. And we're not saying that we, like, totally want to just completely emulate that, but honestly, like, Aaron Hansen, literally just a throwaway line in an episode of Game Grumps is, like, finally enticed me to reach out to y'all and, like, start putting this together. Like, Aaron was just like, just go out and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
What's the worst that could happen?
And so,
also,
like,
do you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to cream so hard. If there was somebody who took the time to animate one of our bits, I would be all over the place. I would be just splattered all over the room.
Yeah. I think all of us. But yeah, so, but if you want to, take some of our clips and remix them to make funny music stuff, if you want to do, like, some kind of animated thing, if you want to make a video where you just tear our shit apart and tell the world why we're shitty, we'll say, hey, thanks for spelling our names right.
Yep, exactly. Well, and this is like a distant ask in the future. Like, we're still brand new. So.
Yeah, definitely. But, we definitely don't want to feel at any point in this inaccessible, because that's not what this is about. We want to hear from people. Also, we'll get into this. We'll get into the end later. There's a lot of cool announcements. Thanks for sticking with us.
Sticking back to Resident Evil 6.
Yes, so Resident Evil 6.
We have ADHD, everyone.
And how? Okay. So, Allie brought up, the mouse and keyboard was a problem in those Chris episodes. And honestly, the controller was...
it was still an issue for me.
Okay. We kind of run it. Okay, I'm going to say this real quick, and then I promise we'll get back on to Resident Evil specific, but we can all agree that we now truly understand how hard it is to continuously try to entertain while also concentrating and focusing on a game.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the truth of it is I am by no means an expert gamer. I'm by no means like just somebody who's going to come and wreck shop, online. But I'm not that bad at a Resident Evil game to where I get murked multiple times. And it happened. That Ustanak fight was way harder than I've ever experienced in a Resident Evil game. And
it's because you're giving 50% effort to both. You're like 50% of your concentration is going to being funny, entertaining, and then the other 50% is trying to focus on progressing the story. So
I need to hear what's happening so I know what to do, but I don't want to miss this bit, and I have something really funny for it.
It's the growing pains of being a content creator, really.
Yeah. Like really the overall. The length of the chapters, the slogging nature of said chapters, and the fact that it was hard to the point where we had to die and restart. Like,
I am not invested really to any of these characters too. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm really not.
Well,
if this was my intro to any of the characters in Resident Evil, I would not give two shits about them. But because there were other games leading up to this, I'm like, oh yeah, Chris Redfield. Oh yeah, Jill Valentine. Oh yeah, so-and-so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what are we voting?
Well, first and foremost, because this is also the newest one, I you know what, I am going to give a little behind the scenes look at here. So we had initially thought that moving forward, so the initial idea is that each and every single one of us would have to single-handed. You on vacation, Roger?
He's going to town on his wang. Roger, don't dude, leave your wang alone.
He's like, it's dirty,
We're recording,
Dad.
dude.
It's dirty. I need to clean it.
Oh, now he wants to come. Wants to come to Papa.
Come on, get up there.
All right.
Go get. Oh, you want to come to me?
No, he wants to come.
Who's your buddy? Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Roger.
Oh, at least I know that crotch is clean.
Put up a picture of Roger.
Right. You know what we need? We just need the most adorable picture of Roger, and then every time we say something that we think is going to piss off the inmates, we just slap a picture of Roger up, so then they can't get mad at us.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who would say no to that face?
Yeah.
Who would get mad at that face? I have gotten mad at that face. I can't deny it. A little pain in my ass, but I love him.
Okay, so what we were going to do was, initially we were all just single playing, and the partner character was just computer, and then it was just going to be that experience. That was more kind of leaning into the spooky and the experience and that kind of thing. But we had discussed, and we're probably going to, if we continue Resident Evil 6, that we would be playing 2-player split screen. That could, possibly make it a little more manageable to get through the game.
Might be a little more involved for all of us too.
But then there was a thing that happened, and there was a lot of progress that just disappeared.
Didn't exist anymore.
And so the urge to play and record more Resident Evil 6 dropped from a decently low to not even on our radar.
Like a Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I'm actually in that same boat.
And not the band.
Yeah.
The humanity.
I am definitely there. I'm willing to drop the series, but again, we should leave it up to the final vote.
Yeah, well, Well, first and foremost,
Okay.
well, let me ask you, like, if we were to continue the series, would you prefer that we like did a split screen thing? Do you think it would be more of like a
I
clip
guess
show thing?
I just foresee. You know what I see? I foresee lots more issues, lots more technical issues, lots more trying to make it work, just for us to be frustrated at the gameplay. So for me, it's a hard pass.
Yeah, and yeah, I'll just say this. I'm a Resident Evil mark. I am. I have beaten all of them. I love. I've even beaten some obscure fucking ones. Nobody here has probably ever heard of Resident Evil Gaiden for the Game Boy Color.
Is it
No.
the same as Ninja Gaiden?
It only wishes. It's a really bad game, but it's one of those like stupid, entertaining bad games. If it was canon, that would mean also Leon's dead, though. So this whole thing is Leon is an agent for STARS now, which never happens. After the Raccoon City incident, STARS like recruits him, and they immediately have Leon go on this mission onto a cruise ship, and he goes missing. So Barry Burton from RE1 comes back, and you play as Barry as he tries to find Leon and this BOW that you have to stop.
Huh.
And you lost me at STARS.
Well, it's just Special Tactics and Rescue Service, Super Cops.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't work
It's where
backwards
Chris
on
and Jill
that.
came from.
They didn't work backwards on that acronym at all.
Well, yeah. So it ended up. Yeah, it's a terrible game. But anyway, my point is that I've played through a lot of games and I haven't fully enjoyed all of them. But the truth of the matter is if I had to list all the games I'd be willing to play and in what order, Resident Evil 6 is at the bottom.
Yep.
It is. And that includes the shitty Game Boy game. That includes like even trying to play Resident Evil Outbreak now with like no internet support. Like I'd much rather do that and just have a shitty time getting my ass chewed apart in Raccoon City than like whatever the fuck Resident Evil 6.
Yes. So going back to it again, unless John, you have another point you want to make.
Nope.
Are we going to another? Are we going to go to a vote?
I just wanted to. Well,
oh my God, John!
I asked you the question, but I didn't ask Allie the question. That's not fair.
Go ahead.
So, Allie, if we were, well, no, I wanted to know, like, would you prefer doing like a split screen kind of thing? Would you like a clip show kind of thing, or it was meant to be a long play, but when the long play wasn't very entertaining,
the only way I could see that working is if we did some kind of a best of kind of clip show type video. Because they take a long time, and there's not like only a couple chapters.
And honestly, the unfortunate thing also is that we never got to answer our own question, which was, does playing Resident Evil 6 in chronological order make things better? And the truth is that we can't truly say that because we didn't get far enough into the meat of the story due to said slogging that... Yeah, the truth is that we don't actually know. Playing it
say one thing for sure. It doesn't make it better.
Oh shit. All right. Kenny, you finally get your wish. 3.
Or sorry. Let me rephrase. It doesn't make it good.
I'm sorry. We were just beating that Resident Evil horse really, really hard.
It was a cause of a lot of frustration. I think there needs to be some venting.
I think that's what my area of like, I just don't want to talk about Resident Evil. Too much PTSD on that game.
So then it's a winner for you. All right. Cool.
Yes, definitely.
3, 2, 1. Sinner. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, for somebody who has played through all of it, I beat all 4 stories when I bought it because I thought certainly it would get better. I saw what Capcom was trying to do. I saw where they were trying to go. Gameplay-wise, it's honestly a lot smoother when you get the hang of it than like Resident Evil's 4 and 5. But like slightly improved gameplay does not forgive a significantly worse story. So for that reason, Resident Evil 6, go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Bye.
That being said, we may or may not take a look at some different Resident Evil in the future.
Absolutely. I'm not against playing Resident Evil as a haunted hotel or a weekend getaway or a combination of the two.
I want to see Big Booty Mommy.
I
Big Booty Mommy?
I want to see Big Booty Mommy.
Just as a to throw it out there, I would like to maybe see us do a compare and contrast with one of the Resident Evil games that's recently been remade.
Yep, we have 3 choices on that one. 2, 3, and 4.
If people have strong opinions, maybe let us know.
By the way, if we play Resident Evil 4, it will be guaranteed to be a weekend getaway because the OG Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games. Just out there.
And I couldn't put the remake down.
Yeah, the remake is also very, very good. Yeah, so, like, honestly, the only thing that is left to talk about is...
where are we in our relationship?
I don't know, Kenny. How long have you known me?
It's been 84 years.
You're stuck with me.
Hold on.
Yeah, kind of.
No, but let's give a little love to how you, the inmates, can help us plan for more shitty games in the future. So the truth of the matter is we do have like a catalog of games that we've thought of that we want to play, not just for Second Chance In, but things like Mystery Manor, Weekend Getaway, and well, that's pretty much those 2 are the big ones. We have like our holiday themed kind of thing, but we really want to
Haunted Hotel.
Yeah, we really want to be on the lookout, possibly next Christmas.
Crimbus.
Not
for
this
some
Christmas.
kind of holidays.
Holiday Inn.
Holidays Inn.
And there is another 2CI spin-off show that I'm really excited for. But that's gonna come a little bit later. Not sure when, so I don't want to announce it.
Is Holiday Inn gonna come after us if we use that tagline? Holidays Inn.
Holiday Inn. I think if we made it like HOLLY DAY Inn. I mean, and if Holiday Inn is so petty that they come after our tiny ass,
they got the
channel,
big bucks. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, but we don't have the clout to get their attention.
Holiday Inn. I do like that a lot.
The holidays. I put an S on it. The holidays. It's the holly jolly days.
But you have to put the inn in there, so IN.
Yeah, it's the holidays.
In. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah. So So if you really want us to play a game, if you really want
us to play a game,
well, like,
because that's not what we do every time.
If you really want us to play a game that
specific game
is kind of known in the public for not being the best, but maybe you loved it a lot, and maybe you would like for us to give it a second chance, we'd love to hear from it.
Or even controversial titles, like highly rated games that have mixed reviews. We love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I don't want to play any Call of Duties though.
No, you can't make me.
Yeah, so
sorry.
sorry. But anywho, but also if you have obscure games that maybe you stumbled upon while you were like perusing through a GameStop or something one time that you're pretty sure that nobody's really heard of, let us know that, because we want to play more for our Mystery Manor. Also, if you're in the gaming industry, if you're trying to develop some kind of indie title, you would just like to get more eyes on it.
Oh, and if you want to give us, let us have it, give it a first chance.
Right? Yeah. Like, let us play it on Mystery Manor. And if you just want to send us a list of your all-time favorite games and that you hope that one day we play it on a weekend getaway, we would love to do that. Honestly, like, shout out to Dr. Jones 20 for actually commenting on our PT thing.
I do want to comment on that, actually, because that actually did spur something in my mind. immediately after that comment, I rephrased how people enter our channel and see our tagline. We do not just play poorly rated games. We play great games, bangers, just to kind of mix it up a little bit, and also just controversial games. So if your game ends up in our channel, and if you see, we play poorly rated games, no, that doesn't necessarily mean that. And we are going to make a much more concerted effort moving forward to let you know if we're actually giving it a second chance or if we're just giving it a fun romp.
The main series is Second Chance In. So if you see that logo pop up with some random in music, like that's Second Chance In. Anything
that's
else?
A telltale sign.
Weekend Getaway, Mystery Manor, Haunted Hotel, those all have very specific themes. The most important being, in my opinion, Mystery Manor, because that's the one that allows for, I think, the most involvement with the community and with our fans. Because there's a lot of games out there, both in development and already developed, that you just have never heard of. And I mean, the internet is vast, and I get it. Like, there's information for anything if you look hard enough. But the truth is that we hope that when you're looking hard for that obscure information, one of the things that pops up is our video, so you get to play it.
By the way, I didn't tell either one of you, but I'm redoing the Mystery Manor intro to make it a little more fun.
Ooh.
Yeah. So just trying to keep things up to date, up to par.
F yeah.
So something to look forward to.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Do you know where the Mystery Manor theme comes from? Did I tell you that?
Wasn't it from like an old sitcom or something?
It's the Wheel of Fortune mystery.
That's
sound,
what it is.
like scaled down in pitch.
That's what it is. That's really funny, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, now at this point we're just jibber jabbering.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go ahead and just give a big thank you. This has been a crazy year. I mean, if you were to go on to Second Chance In and you were to see when the channel was created, you'll see it was created at some random time in 2022. It took us the better part of a year to even get to the point where we were able to release our first episode. And to be perfectly honest, like, we're so happy that we're finally able to do this, and we're able to bring things like this to you, and we just hope that you like it, and we hope that you continue to give us more stuff to work on, so that way we can continue to entertain you.
Well, and I hope that if you made it this far into the video, that I'm guessing you might like us.
Yep.
At least you're not bored.
Yep. Or you just skipped ahead to the end for some reason, which if you did, remember, secondchanceinat@gmail.com.
Give us things.
Please. We are going to be trying to get as many people as possible to just give us ideas.
Oh, Discord is on the way, if it's not set up already by the time of this airing.
Absolutely.
Or
Link
if
in the
you
description.
use this video to fall asleep to, then my request, intern, could you throw in that Kenny PT scream in here?
Oh, God. Oh, iconic. Iconic.
I loved. Did you all watch the end of the PT thing?
Yeah.
They threw an extra jump scare at the end on us.
Yeah.
That was so fucked up.
It sucked. I was watching and I was like, oh, fuck.
I was looking at it to review, and I noticed, like, when you see, like, the music popping up, and then you just see this spike of audio, and I'm like, what the fuck is... Oh, shit!
Oh, God, that playthrough. They did us dirty. They did me dirty. God, I never screamed so loud in my life.
No. Allie and I did you dirty. The intern did everybody dirty.
Yeah, it sucked.
Okay.
Love you, Kenny.
I love you too.
Yeah, can't wait to do it next year.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah,
Haunted Hotel.
We'll play
Hotel.
PT again, just in VR.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
RE7 in VR.
I'll tell you what.
Liz.
We're gonna start. Okay, we're gonna start a coffee, a KOFI, and if the inmates want to see me go into VR. If we could raise enough money to purchase a VR headset with the funds that come through, I will do it. That is my only contingency.
We'll have the split screen recording so we could show Kenny in real time, like with his butthole clenched.
That is a promise. It's recorded. So if you want to raise the money for that to see me shit my pants, then by all means.
Like seriously, you want to turn coal into a diamond? Put it right between Kenny's cheeks and put on a horror flick. All right.
Oh, happy 2024, y'all.
Yep, and we are so excited for all that we are planning on bringing to you next year. Please stick around and just subscribe, like, share everything that
Comment.
we do, because the more you do that, the more we can do this, and that's really all that we would want to do.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Happy New Year. Happy 2025. And stick around for more fun things to come. Love you, babies.
I love you.
I love you. I love you.
And not creepy, I love you. Bye.